Welcome back to the KIX 96.5 Morning Show. We love featuring artists you should know about, and today we're heading to New York to chat with award-winning singer-songwriter Robbie Harte. Robbie was just on in September, debuting her latest single, I Would Still Pick You, and now she's back with a duet with Lynne Swaney from the sibling duo Lindsay. It's called Love Like That. It comes out on Monday, but you're going to hear it first this morning. We always love having her on the show, a friend of the show, the wonderful Robbie Harte. Thanks so much for coming on, Robbie.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, I just saw some pictures on Facebook. It looks like a beautiful sunrise in New York this morning.
You know what? I was in my kitchen talking to my husband, and all of a sudden I looked out the window and I saw this incredible pink sky, and I literally darted outside and had to grab those pictures because it was just so beautiful.
Yeah, a lot nicer than it is here today.
Well, I'm going to send you those sun rays and those powerful, beautiful sun rays to you, and I hope that they help elevate your day.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate it. Well, you called in right before Christmas. You were heading out with the in-laws to get on a cruise. Tell us, how did it go?
Well, thank you for mentioning that. That was incredible. You know, I think I mentioned it on that call that, you know, I broke tradition. We typically spend Christmas holidays with my family, and we broke tradition. We went on a cruise with my husband's family, and it was just a really nice opportunity to bond with that side of the family, my nieces and nephews and my in-laws. It was just really, really nice, and it was a little bit different, but it was really meaningful. So thank you for asking. It was a great experience.
You were smiling in the picture, so I think that was a good sign.
You know what? It was, I think the biggest thing I got to enjoy that entire trip was seeing my husband take off of work and relax, because he works 7 days a week, and he's always working. He's always doing things to make our lives better. So it was just really nice to see him take time off, not answer his phone once, and it was just amazing. So I think that was one of my favorite parts of the trip.
Yeah, and you got to hang out with the other side of the family, so that's always nice.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
Kayla, you gave us a sneak peek of what she was going to get Robbie's daughter. You got her a bike. Has she been riding it?
So funny you ask. The second we got back, we went and got her bike, and she loves it. It's beautiful. Thank you for asking. She did take it for a couple of spins, but then we got some snow, and the snow turned to ice on the ground, so she hasn't been able to ride it. But as soon as the weather gets a little better, she'll definitely be out there.
Yeah, once springtime comes, she'll be right back on it. So that'll be good.
Hopefully before spring. Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah, there's always a break sometime.
But I have to tell you, you know, because I did announce it on the radio, I had to keep the word, right? I couldn't not bring it to her. So she came home from the trip, and she's like, Mom, am I really going to get a bike? I'm like, Kayla, I announced it to all of Wyoming and around the world. I have to follow through with it. I'm not going to not get you the bike.
Oh, that's hilarious. She heard about it. Yeah, so I'm really getting a bike, huh? Oh, okay. Well, now you better come through. That's for sure.
There you go.
Well, you were back on in September with your single then, I Would Still Pick You. Didn't take any time, Robbie, but this is a duet. Tell us first, how did you meet Lynne?
So I've known Lynne for a while. You know, being an indie artist, we're in a lot of the same circles, and I get the opportunity to meet and connect with so many artists at different places, in live person meetings or like in chat rooms. And I've actually interviewed her on my radio show. She was on my show, and I got to know her like that. So we did develop a friendship, and as with other artists that I connect with on a regular basis, you know, you become part of the same circle, if you will.
Yeah, well, in a duet, this is a big step. I mean, how, did she ask you? Did you ask her? How did it start?
So I think it went something like, you know, oh, I like this song, I love that song, and hey, maybe we should write something sometime, you know, and that gets said a lot in these circles, right? In music, you always talk with people, and they're like, hey, that would be really cool to sit down and do a write together, and, you know, that's how it started. And then after that idea, you know, was mentioned, I had said to her, you know, I had this story that I wanted to share, and I recounted the story, and I said, is this something you think you would like to write about? And she said, oh, my God, I love the story. So it was definitely something that clicked for both of us.
Well, and she's in Georgia, right?
Yeah.
So how did it work? Was it a lot of Zoom, a lot of phone calls? What?
It was a lot of phone calls, a lot of late night phone calls, and just, you know, tweaking the song and getting it to where it we were happy with it and getting it to the place where the story was told and ready to share it with the world. So it was a great process.
Yeah. Well, and with technology now, how did you record it? Because you used your producer.
Yeah. So I recorded in the studio, and Lynne did her part out in Georgia. And then, it's not unusual to have artists send their vocals and fly vocals in. It happens all the time for different reasons. So it was really easy to do. And like you mentioned, thanks for technology, it was very easy to do and seamless to do, even despite the distance.
Yeah, it's crazy. Because have you guys ever met in person?
No, we have not. No, we have not. And that's really funny, right? Like, I meet people all the time at events and at, different opportunities in music. And we have not personally met in person. But maybe when I go to ISA next time, I'll meet her. I don't know. We'll see. That would be really cool.
Yeah, it's crazy how much people talk to each other. And we've never met in person. 90% of the people you talk to, it's crazy. But that's technology. That's how
it really
the world
is.
works.
And I think it also speaks to the quality of, when you're putting your music out there and you're putting your stories out there and how you connect with people. I think it speaks to the relationships that you form as a result of what you do.
Yeah. Well, in writing it, how did it go writing it? Did we do it together? Did we take a verse? How did it work?
Well, initially, it went by, we were putting some ideas on the table, and I think initially I had told her the story, and we talked about the different parts of the story, and she focused on the part of the wanting to know about how do you know when love is real, and how do you know that it's the time to jump in and, to commit. And I was fascinated by the part of the story where the woman was, giving me the secret and saying, and by the way, these are the things that really count. So I think it was really nice because she got to lend her voice and her pen to that part of the story, and that was something that I feel resonated with her. And as far as my point of view, writing from the perspective of what you're looking for and how to keep it alive, and I think when we put the two of them together, it really came out really beautifully.
Yeah, it's a great song. You're going to hear it here in a minute.
Thank you.
We're chatting with Robbie Harte. Go check her out, Robbie Harte. It's HARTE.com. She's on Facebook, Instagram, X. She's on YouTube. Go check out all of her other videos. The duet with Lynne Swaney, Love Like That, comes out on Monday. Well, it's based on a cherished conversation you had with an older woman that this was years ago. So this must have touched you a lot, Robbie.
It really did. And it's so funny when you think about the impact of a stranger's words and how you carry them with you. I think that says something. This was really it was before I met my husband. I was taking a cruise with a friend of mine, and I saw this lady in the dining area, on the outside dining area, and she was sitting by herself, and she smiled at me, and I could tell she wanted me to sit and say hello. And so we started talking, and she was telling me her story, and I was like, wow. And I didn't realize that those words would stay with me for all this time. And then when I think back at my relationship and I think back at the life, I think, wow, I followed what you said. I did what you said, and it was really impactful. And it wasn't just then, it was even to this day, several years later.
Yeah, it's still affecting you. It was on a cruise. How crazy.
Well, I think I like cruises, right? They come up a lot in the conversation.
I know. I need to go on a cruise after all this cruise
talk. Yes, you absolutely do. But if you're, wind and weather, I have to caution you. There are good times and bad times to cruise. Do not cruise during the storm season. Definitely stay away from the storm season. But yeah, cruising is wonderful. But the experience itself it left me with was really, really insightful. So it really lasted all these years. And sometimes you forget about things that you lived through. And then one day they pop back into your head and you're like, wow, I didn't realize how much this meant to me.
Yeah. Well, the conversation answers some of the most important questions of all time. How do you know? How do you make love last? Well, this song's a love story. But when I listen to it, I keep thinking of my grandparents for some reason.
It might have something to do with the album cover.
Maybe that's it. No. I don't know.
But I think it could also be the testament of a love that stays together for so long. And maybe you saw their story unfolds for all those years. And when you're thinking of something that lasts forever, that's what you think of. And that was pretty much the point of the song, you know, is really to paint that image of that love that lasts forever, even after it's long gone, you know, that it stays and the person is part of you as a person. And
well, and your producer, boy, he knocked the music out of the park.
Thank you. Well, and there's also really great studio musicians performing on there. So, you know, it was a really great experience all around. And I think it was a great collaboration. I think it really brought out a lot of great stuff from a lot of people. And I just think that the overall end result seems to be resonating with people everywhere. So I'm very, very pleased with how it turned out. Yeah,
Love Like That comes out on Monday. You're going to hear it here in just a second. But Robbie, if you're in the New York area, where's this Folky Fest that's happening on Saturday?
So it's at the Mauritius Community Center out in Mauritius. And if you'd like to get tickets, you guys can head over to mauritiuscommunitycenter.org. The tickets are $10 in advance or $15 at the door. And I'm going to be one of 5 or 6 performers that are playing that day. So head over and you'll get to see some great local musicians, and it's a beautiful environment, such a supportive community, and Folky Fest just does an amazing job of really spotlighting live musicians.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, if you've heard Robbie on the show before, she's had a couple accidents, she's been recovering, she's been coming back. Are you playing guitar? How is that going?
I've, you know, it's a work in progress, but I'm certainly moving in the right direction. I had a procedure recently, and it allowed me to play longer, so I'm really excited about that. I hope that it lasts. And I've been having a lot of fun practicing, so I'm really excited to be able to play for an acoustic live set and to get back out there. I have big plans for the future. I have a lot of things I want to do, so I need to get back out there and perform live, connect with the audience, connect with my fans, and just see everybody. I think it's part of what I love most about performing.
Yeah, and you got Gertie. Gertie's her guitar. You got her a new case, so she's ready to go.
Well, actually, it's my old case. I bought that case to go to London when I went to London a couple of years back, and it's my travel case, and I'm hoping to break that baby out and take her for some more trips very soon. So I'd love to go out on some trips and go visit some of my greatest supporters and just connect with people everywhere, because that's what I really enjoy about this journey.
Yeah. Well, and Robbie, she mentioned her radio show. It's Country Crops. It's Sundays and Tuesdays on KB Country. The show's going great. Give yourself a plug.
Thank you so much. You know what? I love doing it. It's something I never imagined I would be doing. And if you would have told me I'd be hosting a successful country radio show, I don't know, a couple of months ago, I would have said, no, I'm not. But it's just really fantastic. It's really done so well, and it's really doing great with the listeners. And I'm just really pleased with how well it's doing and that people are loving it. And then I get to shine a light on indie country artists. And it's just so much fun to learn about artists and their journeys and what propelled them into this field, because it's not something for people who are faint at heart, for sure. So I always love to hear their story. I love to hear what inspires them, and I love to share that with my listeners.
Yeah, because everyone's got a different story, especially if you listen to this show, too. We've had a lot of them on here, and, yeah, everybody's got a different path, that's for sure.
I think you're doing a marathon. You could probably set a world record for the most interviews had in a small amount of time. You should look into that. You do an amazing job. So thank you for all of your incredible support. You are certainly a champion of indie artists like myself. So thank you so much.
Yeah, no, we all gotta support each other. That's for sure. Because we're not getting rich. We gotta help each other out as much as we can. Go check Robbie out. Robbie Harte. It's HARTE.com. She's on Facebook, Instagram, X. Go to YouTube. She's got all kinds of videos on there. Her latest duet with Lynne Swaney, Love Like That, comes out on Monday. Well, I want to ask you this, Robbie. I mean, you can talk about this however much you want, but we're in Wyoming. We're kind of sheltered out here. You're a practicing Jew, right?
Yes. I mean, I wouldn't say practicing, but I am Jewish by faith, and I'm more spiritual than I am religious, but I certainly am proud of my background.
Well, and Kayla, she always wears, what do you guys call it, a kippah?
No, well, she doesn't wear a kippah, but we have our Magen David, so.
Say that
Star
again.
Of David.
How do you pronounce
our
that?
Magen David, it's like the Star of David, it's the Jewish star.
Oh, okay. Because she wears that every day. I mean, are you guys feel any backlash in New York? How's it going with everything going on in the world?
So I think her hairstyle is a fashion accessory, so it's not affiliated to the religious aspect. But I definitely do see there is a lot of tension, and there always has been, but I think you're more aware of it now. I think it's talked about a lot more than it ever has been. And it certainly is felt here in New York, and it's really sad because probably the biggest population, one of the biggest population of Jewish people is in New York.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that there's so much anti-Semitism, but there always has been. I think we're just hearing about it more. And now, of course, with everything that's going on, it's just escalating. And I feel like everybody should just be nice to everybody. I think it's an opportunity to just be accepting of everybody and be kind, and just remember that we all have our differences, and just be kind.
Yeah, it's America. It's freedom. Freedom of expression, whatever
it really is,
you're doing.
And yes, and I think that at the end of the day, we all want to find peace and to have acceptance. So I think if we all practice that, I think it helps us get in the right direction.
Yeah, for sure. Stay positive out there. And
Absolutely.
How's New York? Are you feeling the immigrants, or are we seeing them in Long Island? Because where are you at, in Long Island?
I'm in New York, Long Island. Yeah, I don't notice anything per se, but I don't get out much.
Yeah, you guys don't go to the city too often.
You know what? I do go to record. I go in the city to record and to do day trips, but I don't spend a lot of time there. So.
Yeah, but are you seeing like people in the neighborhood? Is there a mass exodus? Are people moving out at all, or?
You know what? I know a lot of people are moving south, but it has been like that for the last several years. And I don't know if it's politically motivated or if it's, I think it's just because New York is just New York, and a lot of people find it a lot more simpler in the South. It's easier. It's not as expensive. I think it's just a lot more laid back. And I feel like New York is very hustle bustle. It's very quick moving, and it's very, expensive to live, and everything is magnified in New York. So I think a lot of people do tend to move south because it's a different lifestyle. It's a different way of life. I know my family lives out in the South. My extended family, my personal family lives in Canada, but my husband's family all live down south. And I know that whenever we visit there, we always see a difference in the lifestyle.
Yeah.
Everything is it's definitely more friendly. It's definitely more accepting. It's very, even when I went to the ISO Awards both times, the people in Atlanta, Georgia were so friendly and so kind and so hospitable. It's very different. So I think people just seek to have a different environment. I don't know, again, if it's politically motivated or if it's just economically motivated, but there's different opportunities. And by the way, I'm not a fan of the cold weather, so I could definitely see the appeal of moving south.
Yeah, no, for sure. But, New York's always changing, so hopefully it'll change for the good, or, it's crazy, everything going on. But, so, new year, new song, you always have stuff going on. You're talking about playing live. What do we got in the works this year? What are we hoping for in 2024?
Oh, I have big plans. I'm feeling very invigorated. I really want to get out there and really continue what I started a year and a half ago before my accident. I really want to take that energy and run with it. I want to get out more. I did some in-studio live interviews at radio stations. I'd love to do a radio tour and visit some of my best supporting radio stations and go do studio tour. I'd love to do touring. I'd love to go visit my fans overseas in the UK, and I'd love to do performances out in the UK and throughout the US and even Canada. That would be amazing. I would love to organize some small tours. I do have more music that I'm working on. I think we spoke about this last time. I have so many songs that I've started writing or have hooks or titles of songs that I'm like, that would make an amazing song that I have to sit back and finish writing. But as I improve with my health, I have more and more that I want to do and to accomplish and roll out. So I'm very optimistic about getting a lot more done. And it just feels great to be heading in that direction.
Yeah. Keep your eye on her. There's always great stuff coming from Robbie Harte. Go and follow her. She's all over social media. And go to her website, RobbieHarte.com. And if you're in the New York area, go to Folky Fest this Saturday and check her out. Well, you need to come to Wyoming.
Oh, it's on my list. It's like right at the top of my list.
Yes, we need to meet Robbie Harte. Well, here is the brand new single, Love Like That. It comes out on Monday. Robbie, always a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you so much for having me on, and home safe. Safe home.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure. The road's closed now, so I'm stuck here for a little while.
Okay.
Here's Love.
Well, at least you'll be in the company of great music.
Yeah, exactly. Love Like That, Robbie Harte, Lynne Swaney. It's new music. It's KIX 96.5.